I think here. Oh, right there. There we are.
We are live.
Welcome everyone to session 5 of the Land Profit Masterclass. Wow, we've made it. We've been here an almost entire week, together, and we still have bonus sessions coming up for you guys this afternoon. So you want to check the banner up on top inside of the Facebook group. If you're in Facebook, we have bonus sessions with amazing individuals, customers, students that have joined our program. If you don't know yet, the doors to our 12-month incubator, our coaching program, were open yesterday, and we are in open enrollment right now.
So make sure you book a call at landcoaching.com.
Yes. And as a matter of fact, I would like to already congratulate a few of the people that have joined us. I have John Gilbert, Blessing Itua, Michelle Brecker, Jamie Goldenberg, Celestia Royster, Joe Edwards, Stephen Tucker, and Valerie Fishburne. Welcome on board, guys. We are thrilled to guide you, super excited to walk alongside you in this journey over the next 12 months. And just see you transform and succeed. We can't wait to celebrate your first deal. We have today, as part of our guests, our master coaches, a small, subset of the amazing superhumans that really have cracked the wealth code when it comes to land investing. And they have been in your spot at one point, and now look at them, many years later with a bunch of deals under their belt. They're here on the other end to really share, what's working right now, what's working in their businesses, and most importantly, to talk about tracking what matters, so that we don't want you exchanging your current job for another job. The reason why we're doing this is so that we can have that feel that we can go from what it is that you're doing right now, basically from anything the way we pay before to freedom. And so these people have done it all, and they have a lot of superheroes here. So with that,
let's wake everyone up, guys. Let's see. There's a little bit of an echo. I think that is on our side because we have a bunch of cameras and microphones. We're trying to be all fancy here, and the faster you get, the more complication you bring with it, apparently. So what do you got? Yes, exactly right. It's a total analogy. Like when we just monitor your phone and your camera, it's easy. You start adding all this kind of things, it gets more complicated. But again, a lot of people say there's something wrong with the audio. Can you guys hear as well? How about you guys? Michelle, Donna, Aaron, can you hear us well?
It's in and out, a little choppy, guys.
It's in and out, a little choppy.
Yes.
Next, okay. So let's see if we can fix this in the meantime. And if not, it's like in the tunnel. Sounds like an echo. Patrick, can you quickly turn on the volume over there? And then I'm going to turn the microphone off entirely over here. I mean, the speaker up. And then if we can do this way, then we just hear you guys through our back speakers here. Anyway, still hard.
Hey, Jack.
Everything is the same on our end. Give us a second, right?
2 minutes.
Yeah. What if I introduce the coaches while you guys?
Yeah.
We're figuring this out.
If not, I will ask Mike Meyer to take over and
Yeah.
Mike.
Well, it looks like I'm taking over, guys. That's why
Great, Mike.
That's why you have a good team. Hey, look, I want to introduce everybody. Jack and Michelle are having audio issues. I think that's 5 minutes, maybe 2 minutes. A couple of minutes, they'll be back on. Look, if you've attended this event so far, right? You've been here a few days now. You're starting to understand land flipping. You've seen the impact of it. You've probably met a few of our coaches. You've met some other land flippers that have started businesses from day one, they were in their first year and they had done some pretty amazing things. I'm not 100% sure who came on, but I guarantee it's people that were able to quit their full-time job, retire their husband, just do the things that, and begin to do the things that are really, really important to them. So look, I want to introduce you guys to a few of our coaches here. Jack and Michelle asked us to jump on today and spend some time with you all. So we'll start with the ladies first, and then we'll start with who has hair first, and then we'll end up with one of my favorite coaches, my best friend, Aaron Williams. So Michelle Brown, why don't you start us off?
Okay, good morning, guys. Good afternoon, wherever you're located. I'm Michelle Brown. I am one of the master coaches. If you were here on day 3, I was lucky enough to be able to share that morning with Jack. So some of you may remember me from a couple days ago. I am a teacher who transitioned into full-time land flipping. I get to work with my husband. We've created a lot of freedom in our lives, a lot of just becoming our own business owners. I'm the CEO of my own company. And believe me, that's a big transition from being in the classroom to doing that. This system is what got me there. I went through coaching. I was exactly where you guys are right now. And it's the system, it's having that blueprint that took me from having the idea of being an entrepreneur to being able to do it. So I'm super happy to be able to share that with you guys as a master coach. I get to keep teaching, right? But I get to teach you guys this wonderful system that we've all learned. So I love this community. It supports all of us. These coaches that are on here with me right now are some of my best buddies. Love them so much. And we just all lift each other up. And we want to be able to share that with all of you. So good morning and happy to see everybody.
Beautiful. Thank you, Michelle. Jonna, why don't you go?
Hi there, I'm Jonna Cohen, and similar to Michelle, I have an education background. So I was in education for about 20 years. I felt like I was always at the whim of what other people thought of me, right? So like, I don't know whether that was the principal or the person who I was working for at the university. There was always someone telling me what I was worth. And I think that's been one of the biggest gifts of this program, is not only being able to determine my own worth, but hire a team that then I get to pass on that love to, right? So in education for 20 years, lived all over the world. Never had the financial means to live my dreams. I always loved to travel, but I always put it on credit cards. This program completely got me out of debt. And now I travel about 4 months a year. So my motto right now is I work between travels, right? And this is the way that I live. It's so beautiful. This community is so beautiful. I'm so grateful to be a coach, and I've failed forward on you guys' behalf. I tried to do this program without coaching, closed, 2 deals, but within 6 months of starting coaching, I had closed 25 deals. So I'm so grateful to the coaches, and I'm so grateful to be part of the coaching community. So it's such a blessing to be here today.
Thank you, Jonna. And very, very well put. And we're proud to have you. Gary Pendergast, why don't you tell us about yourself, your background, and a little bit about coaching right now.
And
Hey,
just
what's up,
just
boys?
quickly, guys, can you hear us better now? Just want to quickly see.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All
Awesome.
right,
Thank
so
you.
we went back to the ghetto style, to the old way, with just a little with the little Logitech camera, without all the fancy stuff, and it just works better. Okay, so with that said, thank you, Mike, and let's Gary continue with the introduction.
Awesome. Technology is great till it stops working, all right? So I'm glad you're back to the old school method. Hey guys, hello from Central Florida, Gary Pendergast. Started my land flipping journey back in 2016, happened to wander into a local real estate investor seminar where this crazy German guy was up on stage talking about making land cash flow. And I'm like, is he talking about oil leases? Is he talking about cell phone towers? What in the world is he talking about? I had no idea at the time. So transfer that to today. Here I am with you guys. I've been through the course as a student, now coach on the side. I'm a full-time land flipper myself. Prior real estate background, also former airline pilot. This is much more fun. Time and money, having a great time doing it. Happy to be here with you guys.
Thank you, Gary. Aaron Williams. You're on mute, Aaron. You're on mute, my brother.
Technology issues for me too. Hey guys, my name's Aaron. I'm from Rhode Island, and I started back in 2011-ish, 2012-ish. I was selling cars, working 60 hours a week, and I was making a little bit of money, not much, and I just didn't have any time, and I wasn't making the money. Switched to Amazon and eBay, did that for a few years, got the money, didn't have the time. Then I kind of, learned this land stuff, and, they said you can have money and time. And that's one of the reasons why I signed up. And, I finally got myself to a position where I have the money and I have the time, and I got a nice little business going, and it's exciting. And I'm able to share that back with you guys. And it's actually more exciting seeing other people getting the deals than my own deals, because for me, it's just like normal. But it's actually more exciting when I see other people go from zero to hero. It actually excites me. I love the stories, and that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
So
Wonderful.
And that's it, we normalize a certain level of, success and wealth, and sometimes it's time to upgrade. And that's why all of you are here with us, during this week, during the masterclass, for an upgrade, to really put a megaphone and amplify, the results that you're having right now. So I totally agree with you, Aaron.
Yeah. 100%. So with that, guys, thank you very much, Mike, for jumping in. That's what happens when you're live. Sometimes there's a little bit microphone challenges. It worked before we went live. It sounded, I think, good. But then the moment we went live, something through Zoom, it just didn't work that well. But now we are back. That's what you do. Like in live, like you can't fail if you never give up, right? That's one of the key things. Like you can't fail if you never give up. So therefore, we're excited. So with that, again, today's day 5. You have seen us move through the entire process, right? You have seen us share with you what the basics of this program is. Why is it so cool? No tenants, toilet, termites, right? No repairs. You virtually from anywhere in the world, you can do this business. You don't have to see the properties. You don't have to touch the properties. You don't have to do anything to the properties. You can put them under contract for pennies on a dollar. You don't even ever have to buy the properties. You can just simply do double closings, assignments. You can do seller financing on the properties. You can structure it such even that the seller financing works such that the down payment is more than you even pay for the property. So even in a seller financing deal, you can do a double closing where you use the buyer's $10,000 to pay the seller $8,000, put $2,000 in your pocket, and then create a cash flow from the land, right? We talked about our contract, that our contract has no escrow deposit. In 4,500 deals that Michelle and I have done, we have not a single time put down any money as an earnest money deposit, as an escrow deposit, right? You have, we talked about the contract that allows you to back out anytime for any reason. We talked about the follow-up process. We talked about negotiation. We talked about all these different things, how you can build this system to become a repeatable system. Repeatable system. I guess after 5 days, my voice is going out. Again, built a repeatable system that produces profits like cookie cutter. And today we're jumping into even more of the science of land flipping. Yeah. So with that said, let's start with our workbook. Grab your workbook, right? Your land profit workbook, right? On the bottom, it should say August 8 to 12, right? So grab your workbook and move on to page number 16, which is session number 5. And in session number 5, the headline reads, Tracking What Matters with Our LPG Master Coaches. So the first question here is, what are the 4 most important things to track in your land flipping business? And for that, I want to highlight Mike Smyer. Mike is our head coach, and Mike is really a fanatic about tracking everything he does. And now, do you understand why tracking is important? Let's say you send out 1,000 letters here, 1,000 letters there, and 1,000 letters there, and you end up getting 3 deals. Would it matter? Would it be important to know which county produced these deals and so on? Now, let's say if 2 deals come from one county, 1 deal comes from the second county, no deals come from the third county. Well, the simple thing is to say, well, let's eliminate the third county because it got no deals. But then between the county 1 and 2, which one do you do more deals with? Which one do you go full out on? Well, the normal person would say, well, a county 1 because I got 2 deals. Let's do this as a bigger example. Let's say you send out 10,000 letters and you get 10 deals in. And 6 deals from that come from one county, 4 deals come from the second county, and no deals come from the third county. Well, again, so in this case, you're going to be like, well, I'm going to go in county 1 because county 1, I'm getting the majority of all deals. I get like 6, 7 deals, and I got only like 3 or 4 deals from the other county. Well, in that case, that would be the answer on the surface. But if you dig deeper, what if in the second county, each of those deals were $50,000 deals, and in the first county, each of those deals were $3,000 deals? How does it look now? Which county do you go after now? Right? Yeah. So the answer is not always like crystal clear. The answer depends on the effort you put into those mailings, into those deals. And with that said, Mike, why don't you take over for a little bit and talk to us about what the 4 most important things to track in the land flipping business are, or talk to us about how to track in general. And I think you want to share some of your screen and things like that too for a moment.
You're muted, Mike.
Now you're muted.
I was laughing at Aaron earlier for being muted. That's karma, guys. So when we talk about tracking what matters, and I think you hit the nail on the head, Jack, when you said, or Michelle, when you said, hey, look, how do we break this thing down into a science? How do we understand our business at such an anatomical level to where I know when I put in X, it's going to spit out Y, right? And that's kind of where my expertise lies in business, is really jumping in, diving in, and understanding numbers and being numbers driven, because I know 2 + 2 is going to equal 4 every single time. Now there might be some mathematicians that would argue that, right, in theory, but we're talking common day. 2 + 2 is going to equal 4. So look, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share you my screen. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to go over how to look at that same equation. Hey, 2 + 2 = 4 for this business. How do I create a replicatable result in our business? And I want you to pay attention to the 4 things. I think that's in the workbook. I'll call those out toward the end or throughout the thing, right, as I share my screen. But
All right.
make sure you write those down. So
Let's
share my screen right
go.
now. Let's go. So can everybody see my screen? Can I get a thumbs up from somebody?
Yes, we
Yeah.
can.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, so guys, what you're looking at right now is the campaign tracker, right? It's a sheet that we have set up that we give out to our students for them to be able to track and understand what's happening in their business. I'm going to run through this part right here, and then we're going to break down some numbers. You'll have your campaign here, which is accounting. We'll have a date mailed. We'll have a tag, which is for tracking, right, and understanding that mailer. The number of mailers sent, the cost per mailer, right? The cost I sent out 1,100 mailers, and it cost me $792 to send that 1,100 mailers out the door, right? If we're looking at first class mail rates. So offer request and pending preliminary research, offer request that we're sending out, offers on hold, total leads. Then we come to our response rate. We have our acceptance rate. You guys, I'll start to go through here, right? So let's say you start out your business, guys, right? You send mail out the door and people start calling you, right? You want to know how many total leads came in the door, right? So for this mailer, Broward County, Florida, we have 49 total leads throughout this section right here. And so we have 49 total leads, and we had sent out 1,100 mailers. That gives us a 4.45% response rate, guys.
Okay, and that's the first thing, guys. The four most important things to track. Number 1, response rate. You want to see how many people respond back as a percentage. Okay, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah. You want to see how many people respond back as a percentage. Why? Because it allows you to compare and analyze, hey, where are these phone calls coming from? Then we look next at number of offers accepted. Out of this 4.5%, right? Or out of these 49 people that called in, I got 2 acceptances here. That leads me at a 4% acceptance rate. So that's the second thing, guys. Look, when we're talking about tracking what matters, we want to know who called, how many calls came in. We want to know how many offers went out the door there and how many accepted. That's going to be number 2, our acceptance rate, right? Then you can see they tend to change a little bit. Some counties you'll have a 1%. I'll send out 100 mailers, I'll get 1 offer accepted. On some counties you'll have 4 or 5%, right? You want to understand what's happening there. Then we'll look at the deals sell. We'll put them on the market. We'll sell these properties. We'll understand our sell rate. We'll understand the calls per lead, right? Then we'll understand what it costs us to sell a deal. So what does it look like in our business when we put a deal up? How many of these deals that we sell, right? How much does it cost us to sell each one of these deals? So I got 2 deals accepted here. I sold 2 deals and it cost me $792 to get those deals. Well, then I'm at $396 per conversion. Jack, do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So you know what the acceptance rate is, like how many deals. You can do that as a percentage of the offers made, or you can just simply keep it in mind that what we said on Tuesday is that on average you get a deal accepted for every about 20 to 35 offers that you make. Now I say average because at the beginning, when you're not yet good at this,
or you're testing counties,
that response, that gap, that number might be higher. You might only get a deal accepted for every 50 offers you make. But then as you hone in, and that's part of the science, as you hone in into your high response and high profit and high acceptance rate counties, you might get into counties where you get a deal accepted for every 10 offers you make. If you add to that a follow-up system, as we talked about earlier this week, now you can actually double and triple those acceptance rate. So you might start with making 50 offers and getting one deal accepted, or 100 offers and only getting 1 or 2 deals accepted. But then you go put in the follow-up system, and that might turn into 3, 4, 5, and now you're at 1 for every 20. And if you do this even more and you hone in on the counties, you can get that down to 1 for every 15, 1 for every 13. Like, for example, James Carbon is doing. He has an acceptance rate of 1 acceptance for every 13 offers he's making. That is off the charts, guys.
Yeah.
Right? That is off the charts, guys. Because now remember, like if you send out 1,000 letters, and you're getting a 4% response rate, that means you're making now 40 offers on that. And out of these 40 offers, you get 1 for every 13. That means you get 3 deals accepted. Now, if you do this in the right county, and each of these deals makes you $15,000, then that means you're making $45,000 on an investment of basically roughly $750 in mailers. Guys, how many times would you like to put in $750 and get $45,000 back out? Right? That's where the science comes in. Right? Put it in the chat box. How many times would you like to do that, guys? Right? We got 200 people here. Make sure every 200, I want to have 200 answers of how many times would you like to put in $750 and get $45,000 out. Now, by the way, that doesn't happen on day one. That is what we teach you through the coaching program of exactly how to fine tune those things. That's exactly what this is all about. That is every day. That's why for those who get enrolled in coaching, Mike Smyer is one of the bonuses, is actually going to teach you a tracking. No, Mike is not the bonus. Like, so we're not we're not giving away Mike. This is not, plus he's married and has a beautiful little daughter, right? So therefore, just for the record, we're not giving away Mike, but we're giving away a session with Mike, where Mike is going to go not just 5 minutes as we're doing right now, but for a full hour and a half, or however long it takes, into the nitty gritty of these things. Ryan says, "Come here, Mike." There you go. So
I appreciate you, Ryan.
Right. So okay, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah. Mike is cute, but he's not my type. I appreciate you, Tony. I appreciate you, Tony. So look, as we're going through here, right? Jack hit on this, cost per conversion. Hey, how much money do I have to put into a county to pull out an X amount of profits, right? So number 3, guys, cost per conversion or cost per sale. In this county, again, I got 2 offers accepted. I sold each of those deals. It cost me $792. That puts me at $396 per cost per conversion. And I look at my total profits right here. That means $17,200. We move it down to net campaign profits of $16,408. If I subtract out my cost, my mailing cost there.
Which, yeah, very simply, it's like take the profit minus what it costs you to get the deals, right? Minus the mailing cost and the postage and things like that. So you now have a net profit of $16,408. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then we look at our average margin, right? So I have my average margin set up right here, average net margin. It cost me, I made $8,200. So in this example right here, we put in $396 and pulled out, after we marketed the deal, took it to sell, right? $8,200 for an ROI multiplier in general for this of 20x your money, guys.
Okay, let me jump in here, Mike, for just 1 second. What really Mike is saying is that you're wondering, like, why did it go from 16,400 to 8,200? Well, because in that example, you did 2 deals. So you got to break down the numbers back down to the per deal. Right? So you spend $700 something and $700 something to get 2 deals. That means it costs you $396 per deal, and you made $8,200 per deal. And since it's 2 deals, you made a total of $16,000. But on a per deal basis, you basically put in $396 and out came $8,200. And again, How many times would you like to do that, right? And by the way, that is probably our, as I said, that is somewhat of a below average deal, because we talked to Michelle Brown on Wednesday, and she's doing 50s, 100, 80, 75,000, $130,000 deals. Mike, you do some deals. What is your largest deal that you have ever done?
I think 110 grand.
110 grand, right? And what's your standard deal these days? Is it 8,200 or is it?
I had a partner on that deal too, and so
Okay.
that was my side of it. So it was a lot larger than that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, my average deal, guys, I push property, I push volume, you know. So I'm hovering right around $10,000 per deal in volume.
Right.
But I do 100 deals a year, so I mean it works.
So that's $1 million right there. Now, what does ROM mean? It's profit multiplier. That's basically says for every dollar you put in, how many dollars do you get out? That's basically what that last column says. So for every dollar you put in, for every dollar you get $20 back out, right?
Yeah.
Now that is a crazy number, guys, but that is what we're talking about here, that we're not talking about a 10% return. We're not talking about fighting inflation barely and buying a CD or buying a bond or anything like that. We're talking about putting in $1 and getting $20 freaking dollars back. That's it. So Mike, if you want to stop sharing your screen, perhaps.
Yeah. Can I hit on one? Can I
yes.
hit on one more point,
Sure.
brother? So, guys, why is this important, right? You want to understand the why behind it.
Oh,
We
yeah,
can
absolutely.
take these numbers and look at them and say, hey, where do I want to send mail? Where do I want to invest my marketing dollars to produce the greatest return, right? What is the science behind it? Well, I can sit right here and look at these numbers, my response rate, acceptance rate, calls per conversion, average net margin, right? And I can look at these and say, here's where I want to allocate my funds. I might allocate it here and there. And it allows you to move, guys, in a scientific way.
Yeah.
It allows you to move with the numbers and create a repeatable process within your business. And that's what we're shooting for here. And so
because what you see is that in that second county, in Hennepin County, the second one, you're only making $2,800 per deal. So while that is nice, that's what most people make in their job in a month. But this is nice. It's you can certainly add some, continue doing deals there. But if you want to focus and if you want to maximize your profits, again, this is a business where you want to maximize your profits. You're better off putting all your eggs into the first one and into the fourth one, where you make $8,200 and even $9,900
Yeah.
per deal. Right.
100%.
And for every dollar you put in, you make $20 back. And then the other one, you make $17 back. That is crazy. Right. So you can now decide crazy good. Right. And that allows you to adjust. Can you guys follow us on that? Is that good stuff? Guys, this is where the rubber meets the road. This is where the business owners really separate from the amateurs here. This is where you can learn how to literally take that business and get way more done with the same effort, because you can see where these details come in, right? Okay, that's the type of math I love. There we go, Doug. So you're at the right place here. Okay, guys, so what is the answers again? Response rate, acceptance rate. The third one is cost, the cost that it takes you to get a deal under contract, and potentially also measuring the cost of selling it. But then, and then last one is what is your net profits per campaign. Those are the four things that you want to measure. Now, on top of it, moving on into question number 2, how can you measure the effectiveness of your mailings? That's a bit of a trick question, because what most people would have answered there is, well, response rate. But did you see in Mike's thing that the second kind of county had a much higher response rates, I believe, than the first county, right? But I believe the second one had a 5% response rate, and the fourth one only has a 1.5% response rate. Yet, yeah, so you would automatically think, let's get rid of that fourth one that only has a 1.5% response rate, and let's focus on the second one. But what you would be focusing on is just the low profit properties.
Yeah.
So by actually looking at these numbers, you realize that the one that potentially needs to be kicked out is the one with the highest response rate, because it gives you those cheapo deals that in this economy right now might not sell that well in the future anyway. And instead, it allows you to focus on the first one and the fourth one. So again, how you measure the effectiveness of your mailings is response rate is a factor. Obviously, it's exciting to see a high response rate, but what's most important is actually the dollars made per deal. The dollars made per deal. If you have a county where you made $50,000, turn right around and go right back into that county and get yourself 10 more deals, and you have made $500,000. Does that make sense, guys? Is that good stuff? Give me a heck yes if you enjoy this. Now, come on, it's Friday morning. We have day 5. Let's have some. If you have some energy still, you got to have some energy. Come on, let's pump it up. Let's get some energy.
And actually, this weekend, as we go into the weekend, and if you have missed a session, make sure that you recommit. Don't go mindlessly going through Netflix when you have here the opportunity to really learn and really catapult and start that momentum, for your business, for your land flipping business.
So at this point, I also want to quickly repeat, guys, what is included in the coaching program, because a bunch of people have sent us direct messages and questions and so on. And so again, our coaching program teaches you exactly what Mike just talked about, right? So and you have these master coaches right here, and we highlight the other ones, the other great master coaches in just a second, for example. But you get it's live one-on-one coaching with these absolutely superwoman master coaches here. So you get sessions just like that, like this right now, where your coach is going to do screen share and show you exactly how things are working. They're going to show exactly how to analyze a deal, exactly how to analyze a listing, exactly how to improve your marketing, exactly how to help you select those counties and things like that. Then on top of it, there's weekly and almost every day trainings and co-working sessions and office hours. And Aaron is going to talk about that in just a second. We asked him to. And then there's, on top of it, you get started with a 6-week quick start intensive program, where as a small group, you go through the nuts and bolts and you learn everything from A to Z, so that you have the foundation and you know exactly how this business works from A to Z. And then you work with your, and in parallel, you work with your master coaches on exactly fine tuning every single step of it. Then on top of it, you have a weekly accountability partner check-in. We have accountability. We have 13 full-time accountability partners, and that are going to check in with you every single week to make sure that they get a pulse, that they know what's going on, they know where you are, they know what you're struggling with, so that they can facilitate getting you the right help and get you the right help that you need to move on to the other one. This is, by the way, is something that nobody in the industry has. Nobody that I know of has a full-time team of accountability partners to actually go all animal on you and help you succeed in this business. Right? On top of it, you get our industry-leading CRM management software, and then for 12 months and just above, you get a 2.5-day virtual online Zoom-based training where we teach you exactly how to use the software. And then on top of it, you get there's online modules and documents and things like that show you exactly also how to do this.
Scripts, templates,
and lastly, exactly, our attorney reviewed advanced contracts, letters, and processes, some of which actually have been co-created with our master coaches, because as we as a team come across the wildest things in land flipping that you can come across, we are constantly improving those programs. And guess what? They're not necessarily, all these advanced documents are not in our course. They are in coaching. So in coaching, you get the best of the best of the best of the best. Now, again, yesterday we had said that so what you want to do is you want to book a call at landcoaching.com. And yesterday we had said that those who book a call yesterday and enroll in coaching yesterday get $4,000 off. Now I think we have something over 150 phone calls booked already with our team. There's no way our team could actually manage to do them all yesterday. So therefore, we have extended the $4,000 offer off when you pay in full. This is only when you pay in full. We have extended that to today, because it would be unfair to cut those out that just could not book yesterday because the calendar was full. Right? And also we extended the 2 one-on-one calls with your master coach, 2 extra one-on-one calls with your master coach or any of our master coach. And then we also extended the bonuses that we also have the bonuses.
Only for 5.
Which is, no, this is for everyone, which is the deep dive into talking with buyers and sellers with Aaron Williams. And he's going to talk about that in a second. Plus the Facebook paid ads. How do you want to accelerate your sales? By having targeted advertising and getting getting a buyer's list with something like below $1 leads, right? So you put in $100, you have 100 buyer's leads. How cool is that? Interested exactly in the kind of properties that you have. then also Gary right here with us, and he's going to share some nuggets in a second, is going to do a county selection deep dive with county selection deep dive where he's one more time and in detail for an hour and a half going through exactly the 10 criteria, selection criteria to select the best counties in the entire United States. And lastly, tracking what matters with Mike. You already saw that. He's going to take what we just covered and just go in absolute
you'll end up
detail
with a
you
LAN
guys.
MBA after that.
Yes, a LAN NBA. And then here's the thing, we had said for the first 7 people, we are going to also add a third master coaching call, and we are extending that for another 5 people because as you saw, 8 customers already have enrolled in coaching. So that fast action bonus we put out yesterday was not a joke, it was gone in a flash. So therefore, we are right now, again, for the same reasons that some of you could just not get in yesterday, get in on the call yesterday. So on a one-on-one call on landcoaching.com, we're extending it for the next 5 people. You get the third call and also the Done For You campaign that we have, that we talked about, right? Where we done for you a blind offer. We create a blind offer for you. This is like crazy, right, Aaron? This is crazy because we basically selected a county for you that we know deals are happening. We selected 200 individual leads, and each of you guys get different 200 leads. Of course, it's not going to go out to the same ones, just to make sure, right?
Yeah,
so
that would not be
that
good.
would not be good. So each of you get separate 200 leads in an area that we know provides deals. And then we know what the market prices are. We know what to offer in those markets to get the deal. So we are going to actually send out 200 offers for and with you in a Done For You extra mega bonus. This is basically has an extremely high likelihood of already making you that first deal or 2 deals and already providing you even possibly with a full ROI on your program and making you an extra, whatever it is, it might make you an extra right away from the get-go, 50 grand right here. So 50, 60, 20, 30, whatever the number is might make you, right? So on top of it, the second mega bonus is we also create Done For You a follow-up campaign, because again, follow-up campaign with sellers is important and follow-up campaign with buyers is crucial.
Yeah.
Because again, the buyers are just, sometimes they're busy. Like people are busy. Land is not something that somebody automatically says, like, if I don't buy this land, I'll die. If I don't buy this land, I'm homeless, right? No, but land is something that millions of people want. In order to make them want to buy, you got to have sometimes a little bit of a follow-up. And then lastly, again, still for the first 70, for the first 25, that means we have right now exactly 17 spots left. You get an additional 3 jumpstart coaching sessions that we want you to take in the first 30 days. So you get started, you select your counties, right away you book a call with your master coach and have your master coach help you select those counties and analyze those counties and make sure that is all absolutely top. Right there, right when you start making offers, right there you select that. You don't wait until later. You don't try to figure this out on your own, because we are here for you, not only the 6-week quick start intensive, but we're adding these 3 extra quick start sessions for you.
Kind of like your business accelerator. They can make the difference on whether you're going to get a deal maybe in month 2 versus in month 9. So we want you guys to use them in the first 30 days with your master coach.
Exactly right. So this is like, there's only 17 of those spots available. So all of this is included here. So make sure what you need to do is you need to go book a call at landcoaching.com. Now, by the way, who is in on this? Who wants in on this?
If you are in, say I'm in.
If you want in on this, say I'm in. And every single one of our coaches, by the way, has gone through this program. And with that said, with that case, let's actually
Michael's in, Eric's in.
So,
we would love to have you here, Eric. I can tell you that if you're thinking, will I recoup? Will this work for me? And the answer is absolutely yes. We see it, all the time. We wake up to post inside of our, Facebook community, inside of the coaching group community of people every day celebrating first deals. So you will definitely recoup your investment.
Literally,
we've supported people from all walks of lives, doctors, dentists, nurses, lawyers, truck drivers, stay-at-home moms, pretty much anyone, and what I can tell you also, this goes for the ladies, is that the women in our program are absolutely rocking it.
Rushing it.
They are on freaking fire, and I take incredible pride, knowing and saying that we have master coaches that are ladies here inside of our group. This is just 2 of like 6 or 7 ladies, and that all of these gentlemen here, the 3 that are here, and Jack, of course, and some that are not here as well, are incredible champions for women. They have basically, I think, Mike, you were Jonna's coach, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So, and he's now, created a generation of master coaches.
That's addition of master coaches.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, for example, we have Andrea Freeman, who just 3 days ago did $36,000. We have Malhalani, who did $55,000 in 3 deals. We have Barbara Thibaudier, who did a deal 2 days ago with $70,000 profit. Phil Fogliani, who just did $100K while in coaching in his first year. Dixie Wright, who did a $5,500 deal just 5 days ago. Lynn Landry, and a $13,000 deal. Aaron Smith, with $21,000 deal. Diana and John Lewis just broke $100,000. David Germano did a deal. Asamoy did a deal. That is just first deals of our students. First deals of our students in the last week and a half, guys. Just in the last week and a half. Can you extrapolate that over a year? That means it's like deal. Achim Tana, Jim Temmer, Achim Borget, Dan Dretsky, Travis Hockey, Anu Savi, Carolyn Mueller, Courtney Bach, Theo Volkman, Lisa Gundry, Mark Strange, and it's pages and pages and pages and pages and pages of first deals that just happened in the last few days here, in the past few months here. So this is like 107 I have over here, and already since then I had to add another 5 here on the other side. Because they're coming in just like flood. That's what's in your future if you have the right guidance, right?
Yeah.
So again,
and if you're wondering if you're going to be a number in this program, we are a boutique organization. We don't have thousands and thousands of students, so we know every single one of you.
That's it. A few hundred students per year. That's it. That's what we focus on. We know every single one of them. We give you personal attention, and we just surround you with support. Okay. With that said, guys, let's go into question number 3. How do you sell the properties while you sleep?
Gary, tell
Now,
us.
the first answer is realtors. Is it okay? You don't have to sell these properties alone. You can use a realtor. Now, I want to hand it off to one of our coaches. Who wants to talk about selling with realtors?
I'd love to talk about that, Jack.
Okay, Michelle, go ahead. Yes.
I utilize realtors on a regular basis. However, you can't just go out and just find any realtor. You can't just grab, your cousin, your friend down the street. You have to find just the right person. And that is part of this community. That is part of our coaching program. We guide you to find just that right land specialist. And there's a bit of a science to it, and we've shared it and we've honed it so that we can go through the process with you where you're going to find that person who really knows how to value land perfectly. They're going to be your boots on the ground. They're going to be able to price it in just a way where, like Jack was just mentioning, one of our students who I had spoken to her about that process of finding just the right realtor. She listed it, and within a day she got a full price offer. So that's the power of knowing exactly how to find just that right realtor.
And the key here is, if I quickly slide in here, the key here is what you just said, is that she was struggling on her own, and she didn't know how to list that property, how to sell a property. And if it would have been on her own, that deal might have fallen apart. That deal might have not gone through or some, but because we have the expertise in our community, in our coaching community, on exactly how to find the best realtors. And I know Aaron is an expert in that, and you're embedding them. You're an expert in that. You did one session with her. She found she followed the steps. She had this property sold in 1 day, making $32,000. How cool is that?
very, very cool.
Yeah.
So that's the magic of finding that
Michelle,
right realtor.
You didn't say that was after paying their commission too.
For sure.
Yeah, that's $32K
Very
after paying a commission. Yes, very important. Yes. How cool is that?
Yeah, so that's one way, guys. Jack was saying, how do you sell these properties? I think while you're sleeping, well, you can have somebody on your team like that. So that's a great tool.
Another thing that I wanted to add is the ability to also market the property and create property listings, with the use of ABA. I know, Jonna, that you have brought in team already. Can you speak a little bit to that? And how you've been traveling the world and still closing deals?
All our team members, all our coaches here have created the team, but yeah, Jonna, just let's have you talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So in order to live the life that I love, I needed to hire a team. And again, I had no idea how to scale, right? I had no skills in entrepreneurship, never mind management before getting into coaching. And it really helped me to scale my team super quickly. So now I have 2.5 people that work for me. Again, I travel 4+ months a year. This summer, I was actually traveling for 2 whole months to 6 different countries and closing deals, again, more or less while I slept, right? Because my team was handling nearly everything. So that was such a gift, both to learn that through coaching and now to teach others how to do that as a coach.
Yes.
Yes, exactly right. And that's, by the way, when we talked about the 4 stages of the program, like first is the startup phase, and that's exactly how we designed the coaching program. We started the first 30 to 90 days are about setting up your system and getting to those first 2-3 deals that make you your first, let's say, 50 grand, right? The second quarter is then about scaling up and getting this to a volume that we on purpose want to overwhelm you with deals, because what more fun thing in the world to do than to have more deals than you actually can handle, right? We want you to experience that. We want to that. Who wants that, by the way? Who wants to be overwhelmed by deals? Wouldn't that be nice for a change? Because in the housing world, it's almost impossible to get overwhelmed by deals. But then the third phase is what we call, so the second phase is scaling up, and the third phase is scaling, is building out, right? Building out your business. And that's what Jonna then exactly has done and mastered. And then the fourth phase is mastery. So exactly in the third phase is when you start adding a virtual assistant. Virtual assistants, they don't cost a whole lot of money, but also at that point, you're already cash positive. You're already making a ton of money.
So you have the money to be able to reinvest, to continue growing your business.
And at that point, you start putting in the business systems. But here's the thing, you don't have to figure out what those business systems are, because we have done it before.
Yeah.
You work with your one-on-one coach, I think, who already has 2-3 virtual assistants themselves. You go attend our sessions about scaling, where we go, where you as a group go through and learn all the scaling principles and all the exact pieces that you need to actually put those VAs in place and the business structures. So you don't have to be afraid of that right now. You don't have to think like, oh my God, I don't know how to do this. How can I do this? Well, when you get to that point, we have the teachings and the guidance and the hand-holding to get you through that point. So even if you know nothing about this right now, it's okay. It's like you don't go from LA to Miami by car, but you don't only start driving if you know exactly that all the lights are green and you know exactly where every street is. No. You go and you start driving and you know there's a map, there's a GPS that has the route for you. Well, we are your GPS. We have everything that you need in order to get you to the other side. And as you get to the different steps, you just get the exact help that you need. Does that make sense? Right. And that's what it was for you, right, Jonna, when you went to coaching yourself?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right,
and I still remember, the one time when you posted inside of our community, that you had gone from being in debt to now having cash in the bank and actually having 6 months worth of savings, and what an incredible transformation in relatively a short period of time, because it wasn't years that took. And we're so proud of you and so blessed to have you here in this community, Jonna. She also actually runs our monthly women's calls inside of our coaching group as well. And along with other, of the master coaches that are ladies and guest speakers that she brings on as well, so that we can continue really, mastering the craft and learn about all things wealth building, not just within land, but just wealth building in general. Sure. So with that, I wanted to also invite Aaron to talk about neighbor letters, which is another way that you can sell properties during your sleep, and talk about sometimes even the conversations and co-working sessions.
Who wants to talk about neighbor letters? Is that who volunteered?
Go ahead, Gary.
Gary? Okay.
So, hey guys, neighbor letters are really kind of a bigger part of a larger scope item, like I call it your buyer's list, right? So neighbor letters are the first ones to go on your buyer's list, right? So a buyer's list, what is it? How do you produce it? How do you make it? So it really starts with your neighbors. And when I say neighbors, neighbors has kind of morphed from everybody touching or adjoining your property to all property owners within a certain mile radius of that property. They're like, they may have friends, they may have family members, they may want another property themselves, right? So we can use different tools, different online tools to capture their names and addresses, and we'll send them a neighbor package, so to speak. So the package is well designed. I know Aaron uses it all the time. It's Jack and Michelle have their neighborhood letter, which goes out to people. We also have a sample ad and an aerial of the property, which goes out to people. So that's the biggest part of your marketing campaign is number one, your buyers list, which top of your buyers list is going to be your neighbors, right? So transferring on, continuing with your neighbors list or your buyers list, you're also going to go to, who's buying property in your neighborhood. You can actually find out who the multiple lot buyers are very easily within that area. And if they bought 5 or 6 or more lots in that area, chances are, if you give them a good deal on buying one of yours, they're probably going to buy yours as well. So they're on your buyers list. And then I kind of live by a motto: everybody is a buyer until proven otherwise, right? I think I learned that from Aaron, or maybe even Mike. I'm not sure who told me that, but it's so true. Everybody's a buyer until proven otherwise. So everybody.
Let's talk, Gary, and perhaps Aaron, you can chime in a little bit. Let's talk about buyers list a little bit, because basically the neighbors is a subset of the buyers list. So let's take it a little bit back and talk about the buyers list. A buyers list is a list of anyone who ever contacts you about the property and might be interested in that property. So Aaron, let's perhaps switch over to Aaron for a second, and we bring it back to the neighbor letters. So Aaron, what do you do to get the buyers list, or how do you build up your buyers list?
So, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay. So every time someone calls you and express interest, they might not be interested in your property, but they might be interested in something else that you get. So what I do is I save their email and their phone number, and I say, hey, would you like me to put you on my buyers list so I can send you future deals that we get?
Yeah.
And most of the people say yes. So then that's easy. In addition to that, you have a relationship. They're much easier to deal with in the future. Okay. When the people call you, it's different now. It's not, how do I know you? Who are you? You have a relationship, and it's easier to sell something to somebody that you have a relationship with than somebody that you just met 10 seconds ago.
Absolutely, yeah. So you do that, and now again, where do you save this information? In our CRM, right?
I save it in Investment Dominator, email, cell phone number. So now I could hook it up to one of the outside providers that connect with Investment Dominator, so I can email everybody all at one time. So I don't have to sit there and email one person at a time. I could just email everybody. And then I'm going to steal it from Gary when he says I buy it for breakfast and sell it for lunch. The trick to that is everybody gets email at the same time. They're thinking you sent it just to them. You sent it to 2,000 people. Now everybody's they want to buy it. They're all over it. Everybody's getting an email. They say, oh, Gary he remembered me. He actually emailed this just to me. And you got people all over these things, guys. I mean, the more people, the buyers list is the biggest asset you have in this business. And I think in most businesses.
Exactly right. And that is, by the way, one of the bonus for the next 5. We actually going to set up a buyers follow-up campaign with and for you. And obviously everyone else will teach you how to do it yourself. But for the first 5, will actually build it with and for you, so that those emails read that such that people think it's been sent just only to them. So that's the buyers list. So you have that buyers list, and that buyers list can be, over time, will become hugely powerful, because you imagine you have a deal coming in and you go, boom, this deal is in this county. I got 500 people in this county that are waiting for a deal like that. Send out an email. How that property in many cases just sells like that, right? Without even hitting the market, without even having to put it on different platforms. It sells. Now, if it doesn't sell, the next step is to go after the neighbors. And so, Gary, let's put you back on the neighbors list. So what do you do when you have a property that doesn't sell right to your buyers list? You sell it to the neighbors. How many neighbors typically do you choose, and so on?
So if I could just chime in to what something Aaron just said a minute ago. So let me back up. One very big important part of your buyers list is you're going to find yourself structuring your marketing campaigns based on what your buyers want, right? So everybody who's built on your buyers list, all your Facebook leads, all your Zillow leads, all your MLS leads, all your land.com leads, and so forth, they all get put on your list. You learn about them, learn about what they want through conversations, what kind of property they want, and where they're looking for. And you can therefore structure your marketing campaign in those areas based on the properties that they want. So the value of your buyers list is just absolutely phenomenal. And as Jack said, it will grow over time and become even more valuable to you. I didn't realize that from day one. Didn't realize the value of a buyer's list until I was a couple of years into this business. But once you realize that, it's just like,
Yeah.
numbers.
And now in the coaching program, we stress it because if you leave none of these buyers behind, very quickly can you take a whole bunch of properties and just flush them out and sell them to your buyers list.
And what Gary just kind of like brush through very quickly is the fact that you're now going out there and actually acquiring properties based on what your buyers want. And you have already the buyer inbuilt, so you're not trying to sell something that perhaps there's no appetite for in the market right now. So
then when you go after the neighbors, you basically don't just, as Gary said, you don't just pick the adjoining neighbors, you pick the entire neighborhood, because many times those neighbors, they want another lot for another family members to move in. They want a lot to put their RV on or their boat on. They want a lot for their kids, for their parents, or other friends have told them, oh man, I really would love to own something out here, particularly in the rural areas. If they have a 20-acre parcel that they're going out hunting on and RVing on, and bring their friends with them, and they're like, oh man, I wish I could buy something here. Guess what? The neighbor letter hits, they pass it on to their friends, boom, right there, they buy something. So the last part of that is actually also the last way, because we have 4 on how to sell a property while asleep, is actually your website. Now, for example, on our website, anyone can actually go and buy the property and buy it with their credit card, right? For our coaching students, we have an association with a credit card merchant that will actually potentially, that you have to be underwritten, but we found a merchant company that is willing to allow you to get an account with, and therefore you can let your buyers pay by credit card. Now, how cool is that? How incredible is that? Now, typically, no credit card company out there allows that, but we found one that is comfortable with it and allows you to do that. So sometimes when we're on vacation somewhere, we wake up somewhere in the morning, or just on a random Saturday or Sunday or Monday, we wake up in the morning and boom, we get a notification that somebody just overnight put down a $3,000 deposit on a $20,000 piece of land. Then our team goes back and says, okay, great. Would you like to pay this off in full? Or are you looking to do financing? But the deposit is in, the property's locked down. And how cool is that? Do you guys, any one of you guys?
It actually just happened to us right now this summer while we were in Hawaii. Jack's like, oh my gosh, we just got $3,000, down for a piece of land. And we had just gone down parasailing. That more than took care of our parasailing.
Right, there we go. There we go. So the answer to question number 4 was realtors, websites with credit cards and self-checkout, right? Email to buyers list, neighbors, and so on. So now let's go into let's go into a little bit more.
We kind of went already through how to establish a buyers list, but it's pretty much capturing people's information, like Aaron said, their phone number, their email. Having sometimes even an opt-in page on your website so that you can capture that information.
Anything else, you guys? Who would like to add something more?
I would like to say too, somebody was saying while you sleep, Investment Dominator allows you to put in your listing a way where people can pay a down payment with your credit card. So when you wake up in the morning, you have that payment.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. That's so beautiful. Like how would you like to do it? Who would like to wake up in the morning to a 3,000 or 5,000 or whatever number it is, a deposit or purchase credit card transaction that somebody just paid and the property just sold on their own? So that's the key of having your own website. Like at the beginning, the website is kind of like nobody knows it exists. But again, we are not teaching you just to do one deal. The goal is here to elevate our sites towards mastery. Our 12-month program is about mastery. It's about you creating a multi-6-figure and even 7-figure profit business. And through that business, the focus is always, everything we do is all about how can we do the most with the least? How can we do the most effort, the most deals with the least effort? And in that part of it, there's at a certain point space for automation, space for virtual assistants, space for automated follow-up systems, space for a credit card that people can pay that for. And the good part is that our software, our CRM has a buying website, has a selling website, has the integrations already done. You can plug into the credit card. When you sell deals and sell financing, you can plug into already. You can do even ACH and collect that money yourself. We have the relationships to loan servicing companies. We have the relationships to note buyers. We have the relationships to people that create the listings for you. We have Aaron created a list of 30 headlines for your listings that are guaranteed pretty much to double the amount of people that contact you from that. It goes skyrocket when you put that in. So we have all these things in place for you. We have the perfect combination of tools and pieces lined up in the right sequence to take you to success. That's the power of what we do here, and that's a collaborative effort of all our coaches and us.
Mike, you wanted to jump in and add something.
Yeah, on the buyers list, right? So you have the push and the pull of marketing, right? So whereas I'm putting it out there, I'm marketing, I put my property out there, I send out neighbor letters, right? That's the pull. I'm trying to get them in. And there's an active component of that too, to where Aaron and I have sat down and man, we'd spent a lot of time on this together, just brainstorming. And you can go into a neighborhood or an area and see who is buying there, right? If you're looking at infill lots or specific large acreages, right? You can understand the company structures. You can go in and reverse engineer their margins, right? And when you talk about selling properties overnight, well, then I already know who's buying there. I've created a list. I've went in, I've pulled the list, I've reverse engineered it, right? I've marked it down. And you know what? It's as simple as a phone call sometimes to be able to go out and have that conversation.
Which Mr. Aaron Williams is a master of the phone call, and sometimes, you know, he gets somebody on the phone that says, "Oh, I'm not so sure about this piece of land." And
oh yeah, tell us about that. You just did a coaching session about that, Aaron. Tell us a little bit about that.
It gradually happened, but what had happened was, and sometimes I take things for granted because I sold cars for a few years, and you know, I forget that it's a skill, and I forget it sometimes. And when I always, when I have a student that's having issues getting properties sold, you know, a lot of times we talk about realtors, but sometimes I say, why don't you record your call, and then we'll break it down on what they should have said and what they didn't say. And then I started calling the people on the phone, closing the deals for them. So then I said, well, I got this predator idea. I says, why don't I do it on a group format? And I'll just take everybody's buyers leads and I'll just call them for 90 minutes. And literally, I take the call, I call them back. I mean, for me, it's just normal, but for a lot of people, they get shocked when someone says, oh, there's no way I'm buying that property. And 5 minutes later, they're like, yeah, I'll take that property. To me, I didn't know people got so excited with this. To me, it's just kind of normal. I'm just used to it. But for to see someone it gradually get to that point, and then after the call, I break down the conversation on why they said yes. And it's their own deal. It's not even my deal. Which is
exactly where the learning comes in, guys. I mean, how much would you pay to be able to be in one of these sessions where you basically, first of all, he's selling our students' properties for them, right? I mean, how crazy is that? I've never heard that in any coaching program. But secondly, then he goes and he breaks it down piece by piece by conversation and teaches you exactly what you need to say in order to turn somebody from a no to a yes. How cool is that? I mean, now you're getting on top of it, a master in sales, guys. This is crazy. I'm so grateful for you, Aaron, for doing that. Yeah, this is really.
And then after that,
who likes this, guys? Give us another heck yes. Again, come on. We still have 200 people here. Who is still alive? Who is awake? Give us some energy here. We want to get some energy back from you guys. Now, Michelle, you the same thing with you again. When you work on your deals, since you're working on higher end deals, you have to work in a few extra tweaks. And a higher end deals is, by the way, with a recession coming or whatever that thing looks like, higher end deals are actually the way to go. Right, because we know we went to the 2008, 9, 10 recession, and the super low, cheap $3,000 properties, they kind of went out of fashion a bit, but the big time properties, the high end properties, they cruise through. because people with money continue to have money in a recession. And people
Yeah.
without money end up not having money in a
Yes,
recession,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so therefore, you want to pivot to that a little bit. So Michelle, you're one of our experts on that. So what are some of the tweaks that you do on that? And then we'll wrap it up with just a couple of other things. So,
From Jonna, yeah.
Yeah, you know, we tweak things with the way that we pull our data, the way that we structure our mailings. You have to do that in a specific way. We talk about that with our coaching students. You know, you're going to mail out to a different group of potential sellers than if you want to get the lower end properties. You're going to deal with marketing them a little bit differently. You'll speak to the realtors that just fit that perfect scenario that can deal with that and help you to make those sales. They have the boots on the ground. They may have their own buyers list, so you can connect and plug into their, you know, power of marketing that for you. You can also deal with the sellers in a little bit of a different way. You know, it's creating that sort of a different type of a rapport with them and just having that confidence, guys, to talk to those buyers that are at that level. You
Which
have
are
to
more
have that
sophisticated both more sophisticated sellers and more sophisticated buyers on both.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that for most people, you know, as I said to you guys, I was where you are. I was sitting there going, no way am I going to do those big deals. But when you go through coaching and you have somebody kind of taking you along the path, then you gain that confidence. And that's where you feel like, you know what, I could do this. I used to be, you know, teaching 5th grade. Did I think I could be doing 6-figure real estate deals? Absolutely not. But now I feel that confidence because I've been taken through the process. And I think that that's the beauty of the community, and that's the beauty of coaching.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and on community, Jonna, can you, you know, your experience now, both when you were a student and now being on the other side, can you speak a little bit to the community that we have here at Land Profit Generator? Because when I say that we're thrilled to guide you guys for the next 12 months, I really mean that, you know, can you speak a little bit to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I started my business during COVID, and to be honest, again, having been a classroom teacher and worked in, you know, university settings prior to this, I was so used to being around people, and it was a really lonesome time for me. But when I joined coaching, I felt immediately connected by heart and mind to this community. And now being on the other side, being a coach, it's the same thing, not only through our women's calls, and there'll be, you know, a live happy hour during the live event in October as well for the women. It's such a gift, you know, not only as the coaches come together, you know, in masterminds and better our skills and upskill for you guys, but also being together in person and online. It's so amazing. I had a student this week who, you know, just closed a $36,000 deal. And it's like Gary was saying, it's like, it's so amazing to do your own deals, but it starts to feel normal, you know, and to see the success of our students is just like beyond measure.
Yes.
Yeah, and we agree with that. We do the happy dance every time, and there's like a happy dance almost every day when one of our students do their first deal.
Because all of our, you know, 20 plus master coaches were all actually in one group, in one communication channel, and every time somebody has something that, you know, they, you know, a situation that, you know, comes up that is new to them, you know, the 19 others will have had that situation come up, and we immediately can troubleshoot and can get you answers and solutions, you know, to most of our coaching students, you know, within hours, versus you having to sit there and the deal may be possibly falling apart because you don't have access to a first-class team. So
yeah, we have taken deals that were about to fall apart, where the student was about to make $100,000 and put them back together. And that's $100,000 swing right there. Yeah. So with that said, guys, how about we probably want to wrap it up soon? How about we go for a one round robin? Yeah. And Michelle, you take it.
Yeah. So I would just like to ask all of you, because I think John already alluded a little bit to it, but perhaps we can hear from Gary, from Aaron, and Michelle and Mike. You know, why do you coach?
So I'll jump in if you don't mind.
Sure.
So piggybacking on what Jonna just said, 100% Jonna, it's a couple things for me. It's like, it's being a part of something bigger than myself, right? It's the relationships and the connections you make within this group and within the student community and the coaches. It's just like Jack and Michelle said, the money's always going to be there, right? The money is great. Don't get me wrong. We bought an airplane this year from the profits from this land business, and having a great time doing that. The time is awesome too. You know, I've taken more vacations this year than I have in like the last 6 years. But those are always going to be there. They become a thing after a while. Like, okay, that's just another deal. It's whatever, blah, blah, blah. but having the connections, watching your students go through their first deal, watching Lonnie, a stay-at-home mom, get close to $100,000 in the first 6 months for business, watching Phil go to 100 grand within a few months, those things light you up inside, and it's just, it's phenomenal. So that's why I coach on the side.
Absolutely beautiful. Thank you. Who wants to go next? Aaron?
For me, I hate to be a copycat, but they kind of already took it from me. Fulfillment, networking with other people. After a while, after you do, a bunch of deals, I hate to say it, but I just feel entitled and I just expect them to come. I don't know if that's just me being too
No,
confident,
it's
but
just normalizing. It's
it
your
just-
financial thermometer being way up high.
I'm just like, hey, I just expect it. It's going to be here every month and I don't care. It's going to be there. But it's not like when I got my first deal, it was like, I was just like, oh my God, this is an amazing feeling. Like, I was just pinching myself, but sometimes I still get that same feeling like my first deal when I see a student go through it. It kind of is, it's like exciting. It's like a good story to tell, you know what I mean? So it's kind of cool seeing that. So
It absolutely is. Wonderful. Let's see. How about you, Michelle?
Yeah, I feel the same as everybody. The community is wonderful. And that feeling of being able to lift people up. I heard this quote just today. I'm always a lifelong learner, guys. I'm always listening to some book, recorded book or podcast or something. And there was something talking about that you're not really a real leader until you can train another leader who can train another leader. So that is very powerful thing, right? And that takes some doing. And what we're doing now is, and Michelle Bosch used the term accidental leader the other day, and I feel like that about myself too. I've become a leader in the coaching community and with my students, but I want them to be able to become a leader who teaches another leader. And it's I don't know, just like a ripple effect. And so we're all part of that. And it's a blessing for all of us. I think we all share that, right?
And what makes one of the things that makes me often the happiest is when I see family members coming on board with other family members, particularly children and so on, because that gives me a goosebump. That is the leader teaching another leader. Because like, again, when we teach our students, or when you guys teach your students, and they're like, oh my God, this is happening. And all of a sudden their adult children come back and says like, Mom, Dad, what the heck are you doing? Because they see the change, not just financially. They don't see that Mom and Dad now have money to go visit the kids. Mom and Dad have money to take vacations, but they see a change in how Mom and Dad show up in life. Yeah. They see a change in how they speak on the phone. They see a change in how they look at life. Yeah. They stop. They're not complaining all day long anymore. They're not talking about the lack of money and how this is bad and this is bad. They're all of a sudden have a goal in front of them. They're going somewhere. They're moving somewhere. They're like excited about life. And that change is like on a vibrational level, on a DNA level, like through the entire body. And all of a sudden the kids are like, what's going on over here? And then they show them the checks. And once you show them the checks, it's game over, right? And then all of a sudden the kids go like, okay, I need to learn that. And now the kids are joining, like, for example, Warren Davis, one of our master coaches, he has they have I think 5 kids, they're adult kids, and multiple of the kids have joined the family business and are now exactly, it's that ripple effect. And he has grandchildren already. So now this business is not just affecting Warren and Michelle Davis, it's affecting their children and it's affecting their grandchildren. And it's that ripple effect of leadership, of impact that we're doing this for. So yeah, Mike, last but not least, yeah, Ryan says legacy and Scott says it's refreshing. And Tony, I love the Tony performance. When we talked about the women's group, he's like, where's our Scotch and cigars group? Okay, we're working on that, but that's a different thing. So Mike, go ahead. How about you? Why do you coach?
So that's a really hard question, guys. And that's one I think all of us coaches have to ask ourselves all the time, like, hey, why do we do this? We make extraordinarily, we do pretty well, outside of coaching, right? Coaching is kind of something we get to do on the side, and we get the privilege to spend time with students that are making huge life changes. But as answering that question, to be honest with you, I feel like it's an addiction, it's like watching, for example, watching Jana come out from having gone through, gotten a PhD, right? Had a lot of life experience in teaching, lived all over the world. She started doing deals And my life became better. My life became 1,000 times better watching her progress and have confidence in herself. And I can say that for every single one of the students that I have. And now I understand why teachers teach, like I get it. I get it why the school teachers love doing what they've done. I never understood that till I started coaching. And so for me, it's like, hey, what is the impact that I can have, right? Like another deal, it contributes to my family's income. Great. I have 5 other things going on that I mean, I've taken my time, but when I look at the things that I want my little baby girl, Riley, to be proud of about her dad, having impacted families' business, other people's businesses, having played a role in them achieving financial freedom, having played a role in them spending more time with their children and having those experiences, and maybe their kid getting into a college and them being able to afford it, right? Or being an entrepreneur, because I took the time to give and share the knowledge that I went through the School of Hard Knocks to understand, and that I worked with you guys, Jack and Michelle, to learn, right? That's what I think really matters to me when I think about the legacy that I want to leave. And that's it. And so it's about love, I love people. I hope that they love me. I definitely love you coaches here, and I love my students. And I
We
want
love
people
you,
to succeed.
Mike.
I love all of you guys.
So guys, you have found a solution. It's being delivered to you guys in a silver platter in our 12-month coaching program. It'll never be easier. It'll never be simpler. We don't compete on price because all of these guys here are super ninjas, and look at the heart of gold of each and every single one of them. So it's up to you now to meet us halfway, to book that call, to go to landcoaching.com and talk to our team. We are, doing payment plans for people that want to join us and, cannot do the pay in full. We also are giving you credit for any programs that you might have had from us in the past to come and upgrade and amplify your results with us here in coaching.
Or you're already in coaching. I know a lot of our coaching students, actually the most successful ones, actually are always a large number of them are actually extending coaching for another year. So if you're interested in that, if you're already in coaching and you think, and you're approaching the end of your year and you're like, I don't want to leave this amazing environment, and I don't want to be out there on my own, even though I know how to do this again, book a call too, right? Book a call, get in, talk to us. We would love to have you. We love our family. We love our coaching family. We love our team. Again, it's a small organization. We know our students. We get weekly reports of every student and how they're doing. So we can actually also, if anyone is struggling, we can dive right in and help you through those struggles. We have designed it such that we literally leave no student behind. So if you're a little bit afraid of like, oh my God, do I have what it takes? You do have what it takes. All we're asking you to do is to stay connected to the program and raise your hand when you have any kind of challenges or struggles, because we have designed this such that we will take you through any kind of challenge that you might come across, right? Yeah. We thrive at that. That's what we do best. So with that said, guys, thank you very much. Have a great weekend. By the way, tomorrow we're doing an extra session. We have bonus sessions both tomorrow and Sunday. Tomorrow's session is about how to run this business from anywhere in the world, how to virtualize your business, literally run it at the tune of 100, 200, 300, as many deals as you want from anywhere in the world. Not even so, if you want to drive an RV through the United States, if you want to just be flexible and go live a little bit here, live a little bit there, you can do this. If you do this from outside of the United States, if you're in Canada, if you're in Mexico, if you're in South America, if you're in Europe, if you're in Asia, you can also do this from anywhere. So make sure you attend tomorrow's session. With that said, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much to all our coaches.
Book that call. Thank you, guys. Thank you, coaches.
Everybody.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.